What do you say? Right? What do you say after a night like that? A night with absolutely the most conflicting emotions you could ever have in a single 3-hour span as a sports fan. A night that leaves me, frankly, totally and completely baffled as to how I am supposed to react to that game. There is a part of me that I will start with that wants to make a quip about Josh Hart being the most aptly named player in the history of the league, because there is absolutely no one. Maybe, back in the day you had guys like this. Now there aren't guys that go out there and do what Josh Hart does night after thankless night. And he had a game tonight that I don't think anyone who watched this game will ever forget. And I part of me wants to stay on that. Part of me wants to expand on this team, which years in the making now, going back to the We Are Here season, and obviously last year, and it's comparatively, it's felt easy at times this year, but every time you felt like they needed to, they were absolutely had their backs against the wall with no hope in sight. They somehow reach down and they find these reserves of energy, of poise, and most of all of shot making. Like, I lost track of how many massive baskets there were. And it's not even just the last 5 minutes of the game, not even just the fourth quarter, the entire second half, as Cleveland, after the Knicks had a double-digit lead for felt like a fairly long stretch of that first half, for Cleveland to come back and take the lead. I mean, you want to talk about how many gut punches can you take in one night? We'll get to Brunson in a moment, but that happens in the first minute, and then you play your hearts out, pun intended. And yet Cleveland comes back and they get to go into halftime with the lead. For the Knicks to not come out of the gate in the third quarter and just absolutely lay down and die, which they would have had every excuse to do, says so much about the culture that they've built. And that is a word that we have tossed around here, both as envious fans and as fans who want to believe for years and years now. That this shit right here proves to you that culture is not a buzzword. Culture is real. Culture is ingrained, and culture is cultivated. And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't even happen over the course of one season. And it happens through the personalities in your building. Personalities like Josh Hart. Personalities like Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride, I'm out of the rotation. Totally fine. You need me to come in for a 30-second end of quarter spot to just play some gritty defense on someone? Fine. You need me to play 47 minutes and 13 seconds in a basketball game? Fine. And that's your, whatever he is, your 10th, 11th man. It's throughout the coaching staff, throughout the front office. That's culture. And there's a part of me that just wants to stick to that. And there's a part of me that wants to say, you know what? The Knicks might have saved their season tonight. Had they lost this game with Philadelphia's win earlier in the evening, they obviously would have fallen from fourth. The Pacers I don't know if the loss is actually official yet, but they're about to lose, or they just lost to San Antonio. But this thing was very much starting to slip away. And for them to get that win, I don't need to say this to anybody watching, but for anybody who maybe needs to hear this, save me the Donovan Mitchell and Karis LeVert were out tonight. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Save their season, potentially. Because, again, you start to at some point, not that this team would ever stop trying, but at some point, putting forth maximum effort after maximum effort after maximum effort and not getting the result, not getting the win, it has to take a toll on you. So just for their emotional and mental well-being, to get this win after the effort they put forth tonight, I think was absolutely massive, to say nothing about what it meant in the standings. I want to focus on nothing but all of that. And yet it feels in some ways wrong to focus on any of it, because with all due respect to Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau and Julius Randle and I mean anyone else and all of our draft picks, this organization comes down to one man. And I threw on his jersey in an act of, I don't know what, an act of solidarity before this post game, because I had to, because he's that important. I mean, I've had the question asked of me, and the topic has been brought up by a few people. I didn't think of this, but it's been raised by others, and I've since thought about it. Like, is he going to go? Jalen Brunson going to go down as one of the 5 most important free agent signings in the history of the league? The fact that I could ask that question and not be laughed off of my show, I know we have a fairly biased audience here, but I think you could ask that of a general NBA fan. Like, by the time all is said and done with Jalen Brunson, could he go down as one of the 5 most important free agent signings in NBA history? I think a lot of people in the NBA watching what's going on with this team and with this player would have to at least stop and pause and be like, shit, maybe. That's how much he means. He means everything. Like, I'm not going to say there is no organization without him, because that would disrespect and belittle the locker room full of guys that they have that just went out there and won a game that they were not supposed to win. With Sam Merrill looking like Larry freaking Bird out there. I mean, come on. Isaac Okoro picks tonight to hit all of his above the break threes for the season. Seriously, like, so it belittles them to make that point, and at the same time, all of the excitement that we have been feeling, really going back to last season, and if you want to, go, we just got an update. Steph Bondi, Tom Thibodeau says Jalen Brunson has a knee contusion. X-rays are negative. So I need to process that for a second, because, as you all know, I'm not a doctor, nor would I ever pretend to know the ins and outs of this stuff. But I think I have a conclusion or two potentially to draw. So I'm not going to put down the rest of the team and say, like, there is no organization without Brunson. But in terms of all the excitement we've been feeling, especially from January 1st on, that was all about Jalen Brunson, because Jalen Brunson could bring us where we believe Jalen Brunson could bring us to the promised land. Whether or not they would go out and get someone else, he's the guy. He's the guy. And when he went down in the first quarter, and I'm going to be careful to choose my words here, because, like, so let me take a step back before I say anything else. So this tweet, knee contusion, I'm not going to draw any conclusions from that. I don't think X-rays negative mean anything, because X-rays aren't going to show like a tear or something. But knee contusion, I with Tibbs saying it, I'm not sure if I'm drawing anything from that. What I am going to perhaps draw some conclusions, and this could look ridiculous in the light of day tomorrow, or by the time people are actually listening to this, is that I took a lot of solace from some people on Twitter who seem to know what they're talking about. A couple of different doctors I saw draw the same conclusion. I retweeted one of them. I'll go and try to look for him right now. We already put out a video on this. I'll find it momentarily. But Dr. Brian Sutterer. But he was not the only one who had this opinion. Apparently, this is the way it looked, and I implore everybody to watch the video that I tweeted out during the game. He went into this thing for like 5 minutes. I watched the whole thing. I'll just say it was very convincing. Apparently, this may be some type of a nerve thing where we're talking like days to a week. So I'm going to, again, I want to be careful about how I talk about this because we don't know. We don't know. And the not knowing is obviously excruciating, and it makes doing what I'm attempting to do right now very difficult. I'm just going to say right now, I am choosing to be hopeful. I am choosing to be optimistic. I am choosing to believe that the worst has not happened. And what is the worst? I'll say it. And I kind of said it. And thanks everybody for bearing with me on what was a little bit of a kooky halftime Zoom. I said it then, like the season was over for me when he went down, and when I realized it was a non-contact injury. Although again, it wasn't quite a non-contact injury. Go watch that video I'm talking about. I was like, immediately my mind went to next season. Please let him be okay for next season. That's the only thing I was thinking. Within 60 seconds of him going down, because ACL, the kill, I'm thinking all these sorts of things where it's like, and it takes time to get back to yourself and all this sorts of, and so it's like your mind's racing and you're like, oh my God, we've worked to this point and it's all going to just go down the shitter, because now it doesn't matter, how soon Julius Randle gets back, or how soon OG Anunoby gets back, or Mitchell Robinson gets back, and like, honestly, my mind went to the darkest of places, which is like, if was seriously hurt, well, all the draft picks in the world aren't going to make a damn of difference in terms of like trying to trade for that sort of star, because what, like the co-star that we keep, talking about, who's going to want to come play with a guy who might not even be playing next year? And like, there's that injury question mark. So I'm literally seeing years worth of groundwork as an organization go up in smoke. This is what's going through my mind in those early moments of the first quarter. And at the same time, I also felt awful for having all of those thoughts. One, because we didn't and don't know the diagnosis, and it could not be nearly that bad. And more importantly, I felt terrible thinking about the team, certainly myself and my reaction as a fan, because all any of us should be thinking about at this moment is Jalen Brunson. If you're a Knicks fan, if you're a basketball fan, if you're, someone who just likes sports, forget that. If you hate sports and you just like good things happening to people who work for it, which is like what's supposed to happen in the world, where if you work and you work and you work and you don't listen to people who tell you can't do something, you could like give a shit less about the NBA or sports at large, and you have to love and admire Jalen Brunson, because forget everything you could want as a fan of a team. He's everything you could want if like you're raising a daughter and you're looking, you're hoping someone that they marry someday. Like, he is the epitome of everything that we should all espouse to be. And I maybe seem like I'm going a little too far. I don't. Based on everything you read and hear from this guy and about this guy. And for him to get to this point where he's on the doorstep of All NBA, which is like, a lot of freaking great players in History League that did not get All NBA. And I'm thinking, God, man, if he misses the rest of the season, well, obviously he can't get All NBA. And forget about like the rest of his career and what that looks like. And that's really then what I started to focus on. And I just felt absolutely wretched for him, and I frankly, like, his family and just everybody who's associated with him, because no one works harder. And like, yeah, I mean, whatever the injury is, if whether it's a 1 week injury or something far worse, all of us are going to bet on Jalen Brunson getting back to full form and be coming back even better than before he went down. But man, like that's why it's like I can't even sit. I'm not sitting here feeling sorry for myself. All I could, or Knick fans even. I'm just all I'm thinking about is Jalen Brunson, and I just hope he's okay. I just hope he's okay. And I hope for his sake that this is just a blip. And that's it. And that's all it is. I don't have anything else to say. I mean, the game was incredible. We'll talk all about the performances throughout the evening. I mean, there's a whole bunch of guys that deserve soliloquies, in their honor, because you don't win this game with one guy or two guys or three guys playing well. Like this is a team. This is as much of a team win as they've had in probably the Thibodeau era, if we're being honest. Because like up and down, Hartenstein. I mean, like how many defensive plays did he make down the stretch? Precious Achiuwa was on point all game long, and this maybe wasn't the matchup for him because, and I think this was maybe Tibbs' concession finally. Like, man, we got to put some points on the board. Precious Achiuwa only played 22 minutes. The flip side of that was Bogdanovic played 30. Bogdanovic, not a perfect game, but man, they don't win this game without him. And his shot making went on a few runs in this game. Second quarter, they needed all of his buckets in the second half. Big game from him. Thought it was another good game from Sims. The Alec Burks experience continues, and then it comes down to your three stars tonight. McBride, I talked about already. Dante DiVincenzo, man. Dante DiVincenzo, I mean, like, is he going to get my 1-star performance? Is he going to finish in third place somehow in the stars of the game after scoring 28 points, 6 of 14 from 3, 11 to 22 from the field, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Dude played 39 minutes. Like, he is their number one offensive option right now. And he was their number one offensive option for this game. And he came through. Just freaking gutty. Absolute. I can't say it enough. This team is special. If you're a Knicks fan, it's okay to be in your feelings right now. It's okay to be worried, nervous, all those things. But I just saw Andrew tweeted it out. Be proud. Be proud of your basketball team. Be proud of the people that put on this jersey that has New York plastered across the front. Because, man, we had a lot of teams, a lot of players on those teams that wore this jersey that did not represent any of the values that New Yorkers stand for. This team is all New York. They're all New York. And on that note, should be an interesting one. Barry Craver. I don't know if that's intentionally blank or there's supposed to be something there, but thank you for your contribution, Barry. I'll wait and see if there's actually a comment from you. Sam Garcia. What a resilient group of men. Love this effing team. Yeah. No, what can you say? What can you say? I don't know. I mean, how many? Let's full step back. The Knicks won this game. Arguably, Fred tweeted this out earlier, so I'm going to steal it from him. Arguably won this game without their 4 best players. I mean, Cavs had 3 of their best 4, and they were home. And they've been the best team in the league for 2 months. Thanks, Sam. Austin Z. Josh has my heart. There's a reason I stuck by my guy early in the season when he was taking some slings and arrows, and there's a reason why I kind of was happy to blockade him from those, or as much as I am capable of in my humble chair here. That is, it's a special performance. I mean, look, we've been lucky enough to see great players here. Brunson, obviously, Randall, Melo, Ewing. You know, for those older than me, Bernard King and the championship guys. Like on the rarest of occasions, you get the talent crossed with the heart, and that gives you, your Willis Reed moment. And Ewing had that too. I mean, actually, a lot of our stars have had that. We've been really fortunate, but that special something, man. It's almost more special when it's not a star, right? Because when it's not a star, it's like the stars, it's like they know they're going to get all the attention and they know they're going to get all the glory. When you're a guy whose specialty is grunt work, to go out there and leave it all out there, man, that takes something. It takes something. Mark Fabros, what's going on, Mark? Following up my least favorite loss of the season with possibly my favorite win, praying for JB, praying to Josh Hart. I'll say this. There was not a game all season that I wanted more than this one. The possible exception is the Indiana game, where I got a little emotional afterwards. Just because, like, well, I don't need to say why. I mean, that was just such a magical evening as it was happening. But there was a moment in the fourth quarter of this game when they were just fighting like all hell to hang on, where I couldn't. You get your heart starts coming up and up and up and up and up, and you get the jitters, and you start getting a little shaky, and and then you can't sit anymore, and then you have to walk, and you have to stand up, but you can't just stand still, so then you have to start pacing, and then you can't pace empty-handed, so you're grabbing all kinds of shit around your room as you're walking around, and you're focused on the game. This was one of those games in the fourth quarter where, and it was because I just wanted it so much for this group of guys. I just wanted it so much for them. And I think every fan wanted that. Thanks, Mark. Dan Hidalgo, what's going on, Dan? Won the battle, lost the war. Saw this one live. Rough. Well, listen, we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to speak in any finalities yet. And I see that GMAC is saying this was sent in before the JB news. Andrew, am I allowed to get you up here? Or are you only in the shadows tonight? Oh no,
I'm here. I'm here. We had some technical difficulties before, so there was just gonna be some maneuvering. What's up, John?
No, so you just said sent in before the JB news. Are you referring to the tweet about the contusion?
The contusion, yeah. So Dan was probably at the game, may not have been, because this is our Buffalo boy, and he may not have seen that the news is more positive than negative.
So are you? I feel like an idiot asking this. Are you taking the Tibbs saying contusion? You're taking that to mean like season-ending injury off the table?
I think the X-rays being negative are what are taking season-ending injury off the table. Now, granted, OG Anunoby had like an elbow soreness.
Julius's X-rays were negative too,
but they after the game revealed a dislocated shoulder.
That's true,
right? Like we knew in the post game he dislocated his shoulder. Like I hate to tell you this, John, because you're stuck with me, right? But I've had a lot of experience with my best player potentially suffering season-ending injuries. You know right away if Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles or if Edwin Diaz tore his ACL. They usually tell you almost immediately. So,
well,
at least that. Yes, and the fact that already they're like, it's just soreness, X-rays are negative. Now, I'll be the one that looks like the ass tomorrow if it's like, actually it revealed a tore ACL. There seems to be more optimism than that.
What I took optimism from, and I'm hoping I'm not being duped, is I feel saying diagnosis for someone who again watched the same TV screen that we all did, but from people who are doctors and who seem to know about this stuff, that seem to agree that this has all the markings of this nerve injury thing. And the thing that really convinced me is it from what, again, Dr. I think Sutter said, it's like it's a drop foot. You can't feel anything below your knee. And if you watch him walk off, not once but twice, he tries to step, and it's like his foot's made of jelly.
Right.
But not that it's like, but it's that it's clear like he can't feel anything below the knee, but not in the way that you like when you tear something. Like, it's very specific to what he's talking about. He explained it a million times better than I am, but it sold me.
I believe the term is called a dead leg.
Dead leg. Thank you.
It's a common thing on an impact injury, which is why the other we probably saw the same doctors floating around that someone showed him bump into Hartenstein,
Yes.
which might have contributed to it. Just didn't activate until he lifted off, and it's like, oh, I have a dead leg, and I mean, we'll find out tomorrow. But I would have like we remember the day of the Julius injury. There was pessimism, like, oh, this is going to be a while. This doesn't sound like that yet. Now, we'll see if tomorrow that's different, but I'm leaving this with at least like he's going to play again this year. I'm not out of the woodworks yet that like we might not see him until we're in the building next Sunday, but
listen, man, I was thinking, I hope he's back by next March.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was.
I know. I got your text. I'll sign up now for October. I was gutted in the moment because we all have memories of Bernard King and Patrick and Kristaps, like the injuries that devastate you, that you know where you were when. And I'm proud to say this was a game the Knicks won that coincided with said injury. That looks like it's going to be, as of now, the best possible news was a knee contusion with X-rays negative.
Yes, and it puts yet again puts a bit of a different spin on next week, but we'll get into that as we go through the rest of the super chats. Okay,
agreed.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Sometimes I got to bounce stuff off people. Barry, here we go. Barry Craver. This fucking team. If of course a man named Hart is the culture setter. Love the team, but need Julius back. I mean, listen. Just get anybody back at this point. I thought it was encouraging news on Julius before the game from Tibbs that he is taking light contact, albeit like probably one of those like big pads, not person to person contact, but light contact. That's, hey, listen, man, that's something, right? We're progressing here. We're progressing. It's March 3rd, right? Every additional day, we get closer. We get closer. Thanks, Barry. Hush Zoo. Really needed that after Brunson. What a game. This is one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, there's probably someone out there who's better at this than me, because I don't, and honestly, the reason I think I don't have the words is I was in such a state of, honestly, a state of shock for like the first 3 quarters, maybe 2.5 to 3 quarters, where I was watching the game, and I'm like, I'm trying to take notes here and do my usual routine, but it was like I could think back to the flows of the game, but like it was like an out of body experience. Like I was watching the game, but I wasn't even really watching the game. And then when it got to like the late third, mid third to late third, and then they really were making that push. I'm like, man, and then it got me back. It snapped me out of it. So it's a weird game for me to talk about, because I wasn't, I couldn't, I wasn't all there for this one. And yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. Thanks, Hush. Keith, what's going on, Keith? Great to hear from you, my man. Been a minute since I super chatted, but tonight feels like a great night to return. Appreciate you as always, my friend. Praying JB is okay, obviously, but this was as exemplary of Knicks culture as any. I'm happy everybody else is using the word culture too, because I thought it's the only word that is appropriate. Shout out to everybody, but especially Deuce and Josh, Warriors. How many players? You know what? There's no way that Andrew's going to be able to look this up before the end of the show. If Andrew looks this up before the end of the show and gets an accurate answer, Andrew will get a cookie or a gold star, whichever he wants. Has there ever been a player that has played more minutes in a regulation game, so not overtime, that did not start the game? And I have to think that Deuce set the record tonight. The only competition I would have thought, and I actually frankly don't remember when RJ went out of the Dallas game last year. That was about a minute and a half into the game, I think. I think he played more than a minute. I think he played about 90 seconds. I could be wrong. But I don't remember if whoever came in for him at that point like played the entirety of the rest of the game. I don't think so. Again, I could be wrong. Don't think so. But I bet Deuce maybe set the record tonight for most minutes played in a regulation game for a player who didn't start that game. Incredible energy, incredible everything. Incredible stuff. Thanks, Keith.
So let's start here with the game last year against Dallas, which, by the way, my thoughts about tonight's game is that this is what that game would have felt like if they didn't collapse, as far as a full Tom Thibodeau-esque game.
But worse.
What do you mean?
This would have been worse than the Dallas game because there wasn't RJ suffered the injury in the Dallas game, but like a different,
I'm doing just the inverse of like that night we were like, oh, RJ went out, we're playing with 6 guys because Brunson missed that game.
Yeah.
And, we were like, oh my gosh, they're going to win this game in Dallas. And instead, we know what happened. And with this, Brunson goes out and they end up winning, which is why this is what we were robbed of in that feeling. As far as the minutes totals in that game, Deuce McBride played 46 games. Now, you're right that there is an
46 minutes.
46 minutes.
But he also started.
Right. So Quickly played 51 minutes that night. So that's
and he didn't start?
No, Deuce didn't start that night. Quickly started.
Oh, okay.
Quickly, Grimes, Mitch, and Randall played the most starters minutes. Barrett played 2 minutes total.
That's my bad. I had thought that Deuce was starting, but Quickly started, and you said Deuce played 45 minutes.
46. And then we got 12. I actually want you guess who the other 3 players were that played 12 minutes each.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Derrick Rose played that night.
Derrick Rose played 12 minutes.
I think Fournier played that night.
No, he played the next game against the Spurs.
Okay.
And then the next game against the Rockets.
Cam didn't play. I know that.
No, backup center did.
Sims
played 13, and Hartenstein played 13. This is when they were playing because Obi was out. They were playing 2 centers with the backup lineup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm on it with that other question.
Yeah, if you can. I don't know if it's possible to even find it out, but yeah. Okay, let's keep it going. Justin, my heart stopped. Pray for JB, but this team, let's go Knicks. Man, I'm thinking, judging by a lot of the reactions, I think my experience with this, I think I took this a lot worse than a lot of people. I think I thought worse than a lot of people. I think I assumed the worst. I think my mind went to the darkest of places. I don't know what that says about me. Probably nothing good. But yeah, yes, all of our hearts stopped. Some for longer than others. I'll say that. Thank you, Justin. Anthony Sixto, what's going on? Thank you for always contributing and for contributing tonight. Biggest win of this stretch. Well, let me read the rest of your comment. Does this qualify as a signature win with the tiebreaker potential seeding implications? No more Hart hate allowed. No, man, Hart should get a lifetime pass. So, signature win. I think it is the signature win of the season. I don't think it has anything to do with the standings. And that's just me. I think, well, no, let me rephrase that. I don't think it has anything to do with like our attempting to catch Cleveland, because let's just say, for argument's sake, this is the best case scenario. Brunson's out for a week. Now, granted, they have most of the rest of the week off. So, like, is there a possibility like he only misses one game? I guess, right? I guess there's a possibility. I can't believe I'm going from he's out until next year until or to he's going to miss one game. But like, I don't want to say that I'm conceding a top 3 seed, but I just, man, unless Donovan is really like his injury lingers, and I don't think the injury stuff is going to linger that much because, and I just looked this up the other day, so I'll pull it up. So I believe Mitchell could miss 5 more games or 4 more games. He could either miss 5 or 4 more games. I'm sorry I don't have that handy. But the point is he's getting very close to All-NBA qualification. So I would guess that Donovan Mitchell is going to make it a priority to play the vast majority of the remaining 20 games. When he plays, this team is obviously a different animal, and they're 3.5 ahead of us right now. We do have the tiebreaker. I'm happy you pointed that out. We do have the tiebreaker. That's important. I'm not going to say that that's not important. He can miss 5 more games. Thank you, GMAC. Is it possible? I mean, anything's freaking possible, but I just like the way that they are right now, especially with the uncertainty. As we're sitting here talking, we still obviously don't know with Brunson what the situation is going to be. I mean, if God forbid Brunson has them, like if he let's say an intermediate bad scenario. Let's say he's out for a few weeks, right? For shits and giggles, like it's hard to count on any wins. For sure, right? It's hard to be like, oh, well, they're definitely going to win that game or this game. And that is with all due respect to what they did tonight and the players they have that gave it everything tonight. But it's just they needed such a big time performance tonight. And I guess I'm a little sitting here right now today at this moment with the uncertainty of not only Brunson's injury thing, but with all the uncertainty of all of the other injury stuff that has been uncertain for some time now. I can't sit here and be like, I'm still thinking 2-3 seed. I'm more thinking, let's stay out of the play-in. That's where my mind is at right now. You call me, a defeatist mentality. Say I don't play to win. Shout out to Alex. But that's just kind of where my mind is at right now. But we'll see. Either way, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's the win of the year.
So,
yes.
Let's go back to 1987.
Oh, boy.
When the Bucks played the Cleveland Cavaliers, the same Cleveland Cavaliers. It was January 21st, 1987 in Cleveland. Not someone named World Be Free.
Oh, okay.
Came off the bench that night. Actually, this isn't the World Be Free. Craig Elo came off the bench that night and played. Where'd he go? Hold on.
For Cleveland.
Yes. Okay. Craig Elo came off the bench that night because John Bagley was in the starting lineup, only played 3 minutes, and Craig Elo played 47 minutes in regulation. 47 minutes exactly. Now, back then they didn't track with the seconds, so maybe he played the same number of Deuce, but 47 minutes exactly. Then we go to April 6, 1979, when
you're incredible.
Rick Roby in a game that the Boston Celtics only really played 6 guys, because Kevin Stackham and Frankie Sanders only played 12 minutes combined. Rick Roby, I don't know how this works out, but played 48 minutes off the bench
in a regulation game.
In a regulation game, this game did not go into overtime. So then we go to 1976, a couple years earlier, when World Be Free played 47 minutes off the bench, and Doug Collins left after 1 minute. So I'm assuming another injury situation, which then brings us to our last one in 1972, when Bob Weiss again played 48 minutes in a game against the
off the bench.
He was with the Chicago Bulls and played 48 minutes off the bench. Again, this is probably seconds difference. Maybe 47
I think they used to round up
seconds. So that's probably what happens. There's no decimals for like seconds, but those are the last 4. Those are only 4 times recorded in NBA history because they didn't track who started and who didn't.
So
at a certain point,
my guess is that Deuce does not hold the record because he came in after the 30-second mark, and it sounds like those 2 players came in before the 30-second mark. Either way, Deuce is one of 5 guys in the history of the league to do this. That's pretty cool.
Where's my gold star? And where's my
it's in the mail.
Awesome. I'll expense it.
Yanni Golan, what's going on, Yanni? Wow, 2 hours ago, I was ready to give up on the season, but now with the JB rumors of clean x-rays, I feel much better. Josh Hart earning his contract lately. Man, he's earned his contract. He's earned every penny he's gotten since the day he got here. And I know the extension hasn't kicked in yet. He's earned that too. He's a guy that this is more than it's hard to say because it's like I was gonna say it's more than what he does on the court. Yes, it is the on-court production that you are paying for, and it is the on-court production that we are praising tonight. But I think when you have that sort of player on your team, what he does and what he leaves out there, what that means to everybody else in the locker room, and how it helps you set a tone, because he is one of the leaders of this team. And if he's doing it and you're not, well, then what are you doing here? Because if he could do it, well, and again, he's not a star. He's not getting the biggest headlines. He doesn't have a max contract. He doesn't have half of a max contract, but he's doing it. Everybody should do it. And this team, this front office, has been working diligently to get more and more guys in the building. That's how they approach the game. That's how they approach every game. So, good stuff. Thank you, Yanni. Career high, by the way, 19 rebounds for Josh Hart. How you doing? Charlie Boy third. What's going on, Charlie Boy? Hey, John. I freaking love this team. All Hart was so ready to be doom and gloom, but at least for tonight, we'll be proud of this performance. Still dreaming of a day when we will see this team with all its weapons. I mean, look, I think it's still on the table. I think it's still on the table. The dream is alive. Hope is alive. We await the news, right? We obviously all sit here and we all await the news. We all want to hear what's going on. We'll hear it after the game, or we'll hear it tomorrow, probably. Probably, maybe not. I shouldn't say. Who the hell knows? But because with this team, you never know when you're going to get an update. But we'll be hopeful. Massive win. Massive win. How do you not love him? How do you not love him? Thank you, Charlie Boy. Jessica, what's going on? Jessica is my fellow eternal optimist, which is why I love her. This was a must-win game. That was a must-win game. Yes. Yeah, going in, it felt like it, and then when Brunson went out, like, I don't know what it became, but going in, it certainly felt like a must-win game. And then once you got to the fourth quarter and you were ahead and you had that lead, there was a point in the fourth quarter, maybe by the beginning to middle of the fourth, where I was like, man, they got to pull this one out. They have to pull this one out. And that's when I started to go into convulsions. And I'm so proud of Deuce, Precious, DiVincenzo, and Hart. They killed it. Played great team ball. Hopefully Brunson isn't gone long. In terms of team ball, here's a number for you. I think, yes, I can do math. I mentioned it was a few weeks ago when the Knicks set their season high for assist percentage. Well, they broke it tonight. 32 assists on 42 made field goals. That is a season high in assist percentage for the Knicks. The big-time guys there, Josh Hart, 10 assists. Isaiah Hartenstein, I believe, set or tied a career high in 8 assists. Fell just short of a triple-double, by the way. 8 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Only played 23 minutes, but he's still on the minutes thing. Precious Achiuwa. I was looking at rebounds. Precious Achiuwa didn't have an assist. DiVincenzo, 4 assists. Deuce McBride, 5 assists. And then Bojan Bogdanovic, 3 assists. So great job by everybody. I mean, look, Bogey, 20 points, 3 assists, 20 points on 15 field goal attempts. He had a good night. He had a good night, did Bogey. Good stuff. Thank you, Jessica. Armand Bernadjaj. I'm never going to get that right, am I? Great win. Hopefully the Brunson injury isn't nearly as bad as it looked at first. By the way, anyone blaming it on Tibbs, we don't like to name call here. And I include myself in that. I don't like when I name call. I hate myself when I do that. Is a moron. I still blame Frank the Tank. I was thinking a little bit that it was, Tibbs was going to get heat, and look, the fact that this injury is not the fault of Tom Thibodeau does not absolve him from, I mean, look, Josh Hart I think he played 47 minutes in consecutive games. I wonder if that's a record. For non overtime games. Because look, we're still towing a dangerous line because he's the whole way through here. He's trying to, he said it after the game. This is what's required. This is what's required right now. Are they going to be able to continue to survive it? Is Josh Hart going to be able to continue to survive it? Excuse me, I forgot. Josh Hart didn't play 47. Josh Hart tonight only played 45 minutes. The last game he played 47 minutes. The last time Josh Hart played under 40 minutes in a basketball game was before the All-Star break on Valentine's Day. His last 6 games, 44, 42, 42, 40, 47, 45. How you doing? But anyway, look, Tibbs is doing everything he can. The man's doing everything he can to get wins. Now, the one thing obviously I'm going to give him this, and I think is reasonable for others to give him as well. Yell and scream all you want about how much he's pushing these guys. It'd be one thing if he was pushing them this hard and wasn't preparing them to win. And what I think you saw tonight, and what you see on a lot of nights, is that, and this is, I'm obviously not the first person to say this, I won't be the last. No coach in the league has their team better prepared to win on a night-to-night basis than Tom Thibodeau. So at the very least, when he asks what he asks of these guys, when he asks them to make the sacrifices that they do and to put their bodies on the line as he does, at least, and I have to think part of the reason so many guys are willing to do it is because they at least know that he's given them everything that he has, and he's giving them the best chance that they have to go out there and get a win. So, yeah. Thanks, Armand. Hush Zoo, what's going on, Hush? Bogey is a bucket. He was a bucket there in the second quarter. I mean, he was cooking in the second, and they needed it. That's kind of when they went on their push and then had some big buckets late. Josh Hart now looks like he's in his post-trade groove. I mean, it happened same time last year, right? DiVincenzo, best contract. B-ball gods have mercy on us. Let Brunson be okay. You hit all the necessary points there. Amen to all that. Thanks, Hush. Charlie Boy third with another one. Also, sign all the point guards you want. Deuce has to play. Well, so we were talking about this over the weekend. Haven't addressed the Shake Milton news. And that's frankly because I don't really know what to make of it. He is ostensibly a point guard, which this team, again, on its face, kind of needs right now for the backup unit. Is he going to play over Deuce? Absolutely not. I say he shouldn't play over Deuce, and there is not one ounce of my personage who thinks that when Shake Milton gets in uniform, that if he's getting minutes, he's taking minutes from Deuce McBride. I think this coaching staff loves Deuce McBride. I think the fact that they love Deuce McBride and the fact that the organization, maybe to a lesser extent, loves Deuce McBride, I think it may have had a little bit to do with the Grimes trade. I will always go down thinking that. And they think he can help them win. And he is helping them win. It's just tough because you're always wanting a little bit more of the point guard stuff. And yet, what does the guy do? He just keeps going out there and producing and hitting tough shots. I mean, he went through a little bit of a slump from three there for a few weeks. He's kind of back now. I mean, tonight, Deuce went 4-9 from three. Dude attempted 9 threes, 4-9. That's some serious shit. That's like that. You want to talk about firing away with confidence? That's firing away with confidence. Thank you, Charlie Boy third. BBB Triple B Bake. Death Taxes and Josh Hart hitting tough threes to bury the Cavs. Yes. Also, fuck Max Strus for that double hammer fist on iHeart. Hashtag heat culture. I co-sign fuck Max Strus. Absolutely, 100%. Don't care for him. Yeah. I was thinking about the Hart 3 from the playoffs from game 1 when he hit that 3. The audacity of him to even take that shot. And by the way, guarded by Evan freaking Mobley. Evan Mobley, who if there was ever a guy who was going to be able to swat that into the third row. But I wonder if Hart thought to himself, you know what? If Mobley swats this into the whatever, third row, 8th row, 12th row, I think there was there enough time on the shot clock to get another shot off? There might not have been. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think there was. I'm just looking it up. Last 6 games in the NBA, Josh Hart, 43.4 minutes per game. That's obviously number 1 in the league. Next up is Kobe White at 40.2 minutes per game. Those are the only players who have averaged at least 40 minutes per game over the last 6 games.
Also, do you want to know the last time? I know Josh Hart didn't qualify because he played a mere 45 minutes tonight.
Yes.
But do you want to know the last player that played back-to-back games of 45 minutes or more? Of 47 minutes or more in a regulation game?
I have 2 names that came to my mind.
Sure, who?
LeBron James.
No.
Latrell Sprewell.
No. Good guesses, though. A lot of 40 pluses. Let's go back to 1977 in the month of March.
1977. Give me a
month of March.
March of 77.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a conference.
West. And I'll give you the point totals if you want. That might help.
Now it's good, but then it'll make me look bad if I don't get it.
I don't think you will. This is a difficult poll. This guy was actually in the news either today or yesterday. I forget when something happened, but one of this player's records was broken.
I've been out of the loop the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it?
So in 1977 for the Utah Jazz, first on March 18th, Pistol Pete Maravich in 48 minutes had 51 points. Wow. Then the next game in another 47 minutes had 46 points. And the reason he was in the news is because I forget if it was today or yesterday, but Caitlin Clark broke the all-time scoring record for points by a collegiate athlete during their collegiate career. Pete Maravich previously holding the record between men's and women's.
Yeah. One of the 75 greatest players ever.
Caitlin Clark or Pete Maravich? Hey, let her have a great career and we'll see what happens. So there, another cookie, please.
All on the way. Juanon, what's going on, Juanon? Fuck! What is this? The Tiki Torch and Pitchfork from Amazon arrived in the mail, and I was finally ready to join the mob. Hopefully, they refund my purchase and some of the bad super chat takes over the past weeks. I gotta love Juanon because he's been a crusader for good. I consider him a crusader for good, at least in the Substack chat. I mean, look, there's been a lot of doom and gloom of late, and and I think, like, look, the team needed this. The team needed this. I think the fan base needed this one a little bit. What do you think? I think the fan base needed this one a little bit because, like, you figure, when's the last time there was a real feel good win? And because I'm just going to go through it very, very briefly. The Detroit game was not a feel good win because you could argue that they should have lost that game based on with the refereeing thing. The Philadelphia game they almost blew, so it was far more strenuous than it had any right to be. The Memphis game was they were up by a bunch against that team, and then they really were very, 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 very close to blowing that game against an awful team. And then the win before that was a month ago, which was before tonight, the feel good win of the season. And so you could argue it's been a month since Knicks fans have really had a victory to sink their teeth into and feel great about. That's That's a long time. You know, that's not the territory you want to be in. So yeah, I think we all needed this. Haitian Ferg, what's going on, Haitian? My man, Tim's got us fighting. You know it. Team win of the year. Get well soon, Jalen. Hate the Tibbs slander tonight. Is there really Tibbs slander tonight? Actually, don't answer that question. Don't answer that question. Team rallied. Josh Hart is New York. Our depth is still scary. No quit attitude from the coach down. Keep the faith. Let's go, Knicks. Man, look, but yeah, hey, listen, it's 2024. If it's possible to have a take, you will find someone or many someones out there who will have the take. I will just say that they have done a wonderful job. The front office has getting this coach players that he likes and that espouse the sorts of qualities that he would like, preferably, in his basketball players. And they've gotten rid of some players that do not espouse those qualities. And they have dispatched them somewhat unceremoniously at times. But look, it's again, I'll say it's been my primary defense of this coach from day one. Go back, pop in a random tape of any Knick game over the 20 or so years before he got here. Just pick one at random. Odds are you're gonna watch a dog shit effort. And tonight we watched that. So I rest my case. Thanks, Haitian.
I'm not sure where Haitian Herg is finding the Tibbs slander. I honestly have seen a lot of this is what a Tom Thibodeau team does. Like this is the Tibbsiest win that the Knicks have had in 4 years.
Are you on the dark web, Andrew?
I'm on the Discord, which I know there was one very specific take that I'll let you go look up later if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll definitely go search for that one.
Yes, totally. I want to give a shout out to the casuals who did the watch along tonight. And I actually had to jump on with them because Sean was a little late. I was a little late to the game, and it was just the sudden thud of, oh my gosh, Brunson is out. What do we do? And we all kind of talked through it through the first quarter. And Mensa stepped up to the pulpit to be like, yeah, they're up by 11. Like, this is, I believe the exact quote was like, this is the testament to a Tom Thibodeau coach team. Like, this would be the resume for coach of the year that they ended up winning this game if they do, because we know a lot of these fucks that have coached the team over the past few years would not be in this game had they lost their best 3 or 4 best players.
I was just gonna okay, so yeah, put aside the fact that they're already missing a bunch of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Can you? I can't because I've never played this any level of competitive sports. Not in a very long time. But your guy goes out. Like they knew he wasn't coming back.
Right.
You're in Cleveland. You're on the road. I know there's no Mitchell, but they still got another 3 all-star caliber players. And to say nothing of the fact that obviously they've been killing it for 2 months. To just not fold and not there was not a second where they were deflated. Like you wouldn't have thought anything about that the guy that went out. You would have thought the 12th man went out or something. And I just how is that possible?
So there's a take I gave. There's an element of this that I appreciate that I think goes hand in hand with this. But the familial aspect of this team,
that's a good one.
That's the CAA, the Villanova, who were the 2 key players tonight? It was Josh Hart and DiVincenzo. They saw their guy go out. Honestly, the thing that let me know how serious this was is, who else we didn't see on the bench the rest of the game was Rick Brunson. He went back to be with his son
I didn't know
for the rest of the game. And you just saw the 2 Villanova boys step up. Like our brother is down, and this has been a running joke. Like CAA runs the Knicks, the Villanova Knicks. That has been a thing in national circles. And that aspect, I think, played a part tonight. That our brother is down, and as a family, we're going to overcome it. And the DNA was tested tonight. I think it proved right.
It's inspiring.
It is.
It's
Very
inspiring.
much is. Yeah.
Amen to that. Thank you, Haitian. Appreciate you letting me go on that little rant. Alex, what's going on, Alex? Most importantly, let's all hope JB is okay. Obviously, goes without saying, and back very soon. Josh Hart's effort and drive is truly special. I can see why he is any coach's dream. It's not just Tibbs. We keep saying this, right? It's not just Tibbs. Any coach is going to have to resist every urge in their body to play this guy as many minutes as he could play, which apparently is like all of the minutes. I keep going back to the guy that is the gold standard in the league right now, Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra, just go pull up any soundbite from over the summer or from the beginning of the season when he's asked about Josh Hart. Like, you don't think Spo would be playing him a million minutes? He is a coach's dream because of how he approaches and how he may not always execute perfectly, but everything you could ask for is there. Thank you, Alex. Dan Hidalgo, this is the kind of game when you see Tibbs' real value. See, Andrew said it. It seems like most of the comments are of this. Yeah. I don't know how many other coaches win this. Dan Hidalgo, another one, Knicks culture. How great is it to be able to say that and mean it? Knicks culture. Knicks culture is the realest thing in the league. It's right up there with Heat culture, which Andrews will always make fun of me for that I give credence to, but no, that's
the only difference with Knicks culture is that we're looking to defeat you, not take out your best players. While you know what I was when I got the alert on Thursday night when the Heat were playing the Nuggets, and it's like, all right, this will be the game the Heat to lose, right? And Jamal Murray out with an injury for the rest of the game. Gee, I wonder what team he was playing.
Yeah. But no, it 100%. I don't disagree with you. Also, we're talking about great culture, great coaches, historically great coaches that are still coaching, and great culture. Warriors culture.
Oh my God!
Take a bow. Seriously, not today. I actually did not mean that facetiously at all. I swear I didn't mean that facetiously. I swear on my children I didn't mean that facetiously. They got beat by a billion points tonight. But no, I'm serious. Before today, their season was arguably for a few months in the absolute toilet, and it's rebounded, and we'll see how they come back from today. But yeah.
Yes, for those that missed it, they lost by 100 points today. And you know how crazy it is that I'm only off by 48 points.
They lost by a lot of points. It wasn't a good effort.
Yes.
Anyway. Thanks, Dan. Will Oliver, what's going on, Will? A moral victory? That is an actual victory. Yeah. Funny how that worked out. It's nice when you can get both. Thank you, Will. Dean, hey, our main man, our Australia correspondent. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions from the heart sinking to Hart's dominance. So proud to be a Knicks fan. Well, if we got you chiming in from across the world, you knew it was a big win. Appreciate you, Dean. Thank you, man. You're the best. Claudio Santos, what's going on, Claudio? Bogdanovic is trying hard. 20 points tonight and decent attempts at defense. I think he can make it and become an integral part of the second unit. So here's what I think about Bogdanovic. And I don't know if it matters, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think he cares on defense, and I think he tries on defense. Now, those two things, and, $5 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks, without some ability to execute. I think Bogey still has some ability to execute. I think he needs to be pretty perfect. He needs to outthink his opponents because I don't know how many less athletic guys there are in the league at this point. Maybe it's just for a while. But if there's still something there, the thing that got me tonight was, and Benji pointed it out on Twitter, and you could go back and look at the clip. I retweeted it at the end of the third quarter. A maddening final 30 some odd seconds or whatever it was between Josh Hart. The one mistake he made all night was he took that heat check three with enough time on the clock where the Cavs would be able to get a 2-for-1. And it was very early in the Knicks clock. So I was like, what are you doing, man? The final, Strus hit a three, and then on the Cavs' last possession, it was Merrill that hit the three. And Bogey sagged so far off. And I think by this point, Merrill was had already hit 5 or 6 threes. I forget what it was. But he was on fire. And Bogey sagged all the way off. And as soon as the ball went through the hoop, Tibbs he lost his shit. He just was searching for answers. So I think there are still moments where Bogey, kind of spaces out and maybe is not thinking in that sense, thinking the game. When I'm talking about thinking the game at a high level, I'm talking about trying to outthink his opponent as far as a one-on-one defensive situation where he's trying to outguess, okay, is this guy going left? Is he going right? How do I need to play this possession? Spacing out an off-ball defense, I think, is a different category, and that's kind of that's an additional worry. So, it's touch and go. It's touch and go with Bogey, but he's a gifted offensive player. The biggest critics of the trade, I think, would have to admit he's a gifted offensive player to the point where you can't, when he gets going, you kind of can't stop him one-on-one. And he has stretches that are legitimate. He just is not going to be stopped with one guy. Because he has that old man crafty game. That's what he does. That's what he brings to the table. Thank you, Claudio. Appreciate you. Hush Zoo with another one. Knee contusion. We're so back. We hope. 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 Thanks, Hush. Look on the bright side. You are going to be buying me a beer. Oh, hold on. I'm going to finish reading the comment. When Dante DiVincenzo breaks the record, I am going to be as optimistic as possible. Be optimistic. So what Alex? So again, I've referenced this before for anybody who may not have heard. Over a month ago, it was before the injuries. That's the thing. It was before the injuries where he made me this bet. And actually, I'm gonna. There's another comment from Alex, and I'll finish telling the story here. Look at that. Optimism pays. Yes. So before the injuries, Alex made me a bet that DiVincenzo would break the Knicks all-time 3-point record. I bet him a beer that he would not. And in the last, whatever it's been, month plus, Dante DiVincenzo has lit the world on fire. I kind of want to maybe want Andrew to come up here and filibuster for about 30 seconds.
Shout out to all 850 people watching live. We had around 1,400 at time of when the show began. And we thank all of you that stuck around. A little more than 70 minutes into the show.
Thank you. Also, hit the like button. Can we do that?
Yes, hit that like button. If you're here for the first time, please remember to subscribe. Really helps us get the word out. Good enough of a filibuster?
Yes, you did enough. So yes, this is what I'm looking for. So Fournier was at 241, is at 241. DiVincenzo tonight had 6. So he is at 192. And tonight was the Knicks' 61st game of the year. Yes, 61st game of the year. So, what does that mean? It means that Dante DiVincenzo currently is 192. So that's 8. That's 49. So to break the record would require 50 more 3-point field goals. So 53s over the course of, if he plays all remaining 21 games, which we'll see if he does. Dante DiVincenzo, only needs to average from here on in 2.4 threes per game. I believe I have the math on that correct. 2.4 threes per game to break Evan Fournier's all-time record. At this point, it would be utterly shocking if he did not, at the very least, did not finish in the top 2, which would mean that he passed J.R. Smith tonight, and Starks is in third at 217. Randall from last season is in second at 218. I mean, as long as he doesn't get injured, he's going to blow by those guys. It's really just a matter of, can he catch Fournier? If he plays the rest of the season and he doesn't get injured, even he could probably even take a couple of games off, and still break the record. That's kind of where we're at. So start thinking about what beer you want, Alex. Jason M. Me and you were of one mind during halftime. Never felt so many different emotions in one season, and we still got a quarter of the regular season left. Roller coaster is an understatement. Lost for words. Yeah. I think it's rare that both of us get lost for words, but I think tonight was one of those nights. Yeah, man, it's been, I mean, and it's funny because, like, I don't know, are we just out of the loop as fans, and do all, like, kind of interesting teams go through this every year? Because, like, I'm thinking, like, yes, this season feels massively unique when you consider the 2-4 start, and then they kind of put it together, but it was like, it felt a little illegitimate. And then the Mitch injury, and then they struggled to end December, and then the fucking trade in January, and now February, and now this win, and Brunson injury. It's definitely the most roller coastery season we've had. But if you think back to last year, like really dig into last year and how last year had downs and then ups and then some downs and then some ups and then into the playoffs. And then the year before that, where they were hanging around. They were hanging around until like almost, 45 games in, and then all the wheels fall off and you kind of end on a high-ish note. And then the season before that, the We Here season, I think, had a lot of little nooks and crannies in it. So, it's now 4 years that this team is just not for the faint of heart. Again, pun intended. Pun intended. Thank you, Jason. Dom Cappuccini, my main man. Fantastic win. We back. I am excited to see more Deuce for the next week or so. Very impressive win to crack that defense while missing the head of our snake. Get well soon, JB. I think, I'm pretty sure the Cavs had may still have the number 1 defense dating back to January 1st. I will double check that. It was either number 1 or 2. I forget if they were number 1 or 2 in terms of them or the Minnesota Timberwolves. But, like, one of the best defenses in the league all year long, but especially since January 1st. And the Knicks, man, maybe they just do kind of have this team's number. I don't know what it is, but felt good. Thanks, Dom. Appreciate you. Alex with another one. Tibbs leaves zero doubt Deuce over AB in the pecking order now. Yeah, and actually, you know what? Can I comment on something else? So I think some people had some fun with Tibbs' comments after the last game about saying I would have played Alec Burks even more. I think he was being very kind to his player. I think he looked at the situation with Alec Burks, looked at how much Alec Burks had been struggling since he got here, and was trying to basically say, like, I still believe in you. You're still my guy. I still have faith in you. What did he play Alec Burks last game? 11 minutes. What did he play Alec Burks tonight? 11 minutes. And this was with no Jalen Brunson. And he still played Alec Burks 11 minutes. So I think that comment was all about standing up for his guy, because, like, think about this coach. Think about how fucking stubborn he is. How he's the most hard-headed coach in professional sports. Do you really think he would get up there at the podium after a game and be like, yeah, you know what? I screwed that one up. My bad. Should have done it differently. No. He was being nice to his guy. And I don't blame him. I think it's the right thing to do. But yeah, no, absolutely. To your point, yeah, zero doubt. Thanks, Alex.
By the way,
Yes.
while I have this Alex up on screen,
Yes.
we have some housekeeping we have to do. So we have another Alex, Fargo Tufo, that's a longtime patron in the Substack chat, in the Discord, and is a staple here at Knicks Film School.
Yes.
Alex, new Alex, okay, we need to differentiate you both. So from now on, you either, I'm personally requesting that you change your name to Other Alex, because the original Alex is confused anytime John references Alex on the post game. And I like you, Alex. I like the passion you bring, or Other Alex. I like the passion you bring to your comments. You're a Jets fan, I can see. So we share in that misery together. So
How can you see that?
He's the regular chat. He's commented a
Oh,
ton. So
got it.
just, if you don't mind, change your name to Other Alex, and then we know to say Other Alex when you show up, and then original Alex, Fargo Tufo, will be called Alex going forward. Por favor.
That was great.
We like all Alexes. All Alexes are created equal here, but we want to differentiate. Like, if we had another Andrew, we would know that you refer to me as GMAC and that person as Andrew. I hope.
Of course.
Yes. Thanks, Other Alex.
Well said. Kevin Danishevsky. There's only one Kevin. Kevin, hope you don't yell at me next time I slightly criticize the man. Love you, J Mac. But tonight shows what a godsend Tibbs is to this organization. Thank God JB is okay. We hope he is okay. 1, 2. I didn't yell at you. I never yell. Do I yell? I don't. I get passionate. That's a great face. That's a good face. No, listen. No coach is above criticism, and Tibbs has earned his fair share over the years and this season. But yeah, no, this is why I hire him. This is why I hire him tonight. Tonight's why I hire him. Sam Garcia's dad, what's going on? Watching your monologue depressed the heck out of me. I'm sorry. I always fear the worst, and I didn't really know how to. I didn't know how to take. But I had to take everybody through kind of how my night was. That's why. JB has a contusion, a bruise. Let's relax and not predict the end of the world on tonight's game. Thank you, DiVincenzo, Deuce, and Josh. Love this team. You can tell that I have a little bit more pep in my step now. I'm choosing to believe that all is okay. I just I don't have to tell you, Ray. You've been through a lot. You've been a fan for a long time. But those of us who have been through a lot of bad times, I at least have a tendency to fear the worst, always. So that's me. Thanks, Ray. Jessica with another one. Thank you again, Jessica. Also, I loved watching Shake in Philly. Excited to see him on the team. At his best, he hits tough shots and gives full effort. Let's go Knicks. # proud of this team. I love the Shake Milton scouting report. I always remember kind of liking him, but I didn't realize he actually got some votes for Sixth Man of the Year a few years ago. Like, I think he was a good Sixer. I think I don't necessarily think they were dying to trade him away in the offseason. I think there were a few different reasons for that. And I think the Timberwolves, I don't know that anybody has a great answer as to why it didn't work in Minnesota this year. You never know why guys don't work in like when you're a role player, you're not guaranteed to work. Like, very few role players are just easily translatable to every situation. Sometimes guys are just not going to work out. I'm excited to see what he brings. Do I think that? I mean, let's go through this. Let's say Brunson has to miss some time. The 8 guys who played tonight: Achua, Hartenstein, Hart, DiVincenzo, Bogey, Sims, McBride, and Burks. Do I think all of those guys should play over Shake? Yes. And yes, that includes Alec Burks. I think Alec Burks, look, he's getting 10 minutes a game, essentially, right? He's getting a 5.5 minute stint each half, more or less. I'm fine continuing to give him that and seeing Can he bust out? Can he get to the point where he's a plus? Now, do you want to have a ninth guy in the rotation? So if Brunson has to miss time, you're going to start Deuce. So then your backups are going to be Bogey, Sims, and Burks. You figure Hart is going to be the guy who plays the minutes with the backups. Is it too small for you to go with? No, actually, sorry, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work because, oh, no, yes, it would. Sorry. It would work because McBride is starting. Yeah. So it actually makes a lot more sense. If McBride's starting, it makes all the sense in the world for Shake to be your backup point guard. I was confused for a moment. I'm old. It happens. So yeah, Shake, Burks, Bogey, Sims, and Hart. And that's going to be maybe your backup five for as long as Brunson is out, which hopefully is not very long at all. I think that works. Thank you, Jessica. Dom Cappuccini. I'm extremely proud of Deuce and Jericho. Bogey got to be better at the corner. That was a little painful when he missed those 2 threes, essentially on back-to-back possessions. Hart and Dante refused to lose. Isaiah's starting to get there. Let's go Knicks. I was encouraged by Hartenstein tonight. I thought he had some big defensive sequences at the rim. And I think that, needless to say, defense wins them. Defense won them that game. And Hartenstein was absolutely a big part of that defense. So, yeah, good stuff from him tonight. His best game in a while. Thanks, Tom. Brando, what's going on, Brando? This fucking team, man. I think Clyde said it best at the end of the broadcast. So many heroes tonight. JB epitomizes New York. JB epitomizes New York. BB, hope he is all right. I think you mean Jalen Brunson. I thought Bill Pito, also shout out to Clyde. Clyde was awesome. Love to hear Clyde. Great to hear Clyde do this game. I thought Pito was really good. Look, is Pito a natural, like, play-by-play guy? No. But I thought he really captured how these guys were leaving it all out there. And I thought he did a really nice job. And now I get what you mean. Epitomizes New York backbone. Yes, thank you. JB does epitomize New York's backbone completely. Thanks, Brando. Sam Khan, what's going on, Sam? That was the best possible Brunson injury news we could have hoped for. I mean, best possible would be like he's fine. But yes, this was pretty good, I guess. This team is full of animals. No team wants to play us at 80%, let alone 100%. The boys are healing up. We are coming. Fascinated by how this next week is going to go. So they play Tuesday. They have a day off. They play Tuesday. And then they have 2 days off. And they play on Friday. And those games are coming against Atlanta and Orlando. I actually watched a bunch of Orlando play, watched a bunch of Atlanta play Brooklyn yesterday. It looked like at times in the first half they were going to get out and run away with that game. And then you blink and Brooklyn's running away with the game. And it was not all that competitive down the stretch. And it reminds you that this Atlanta team has absolutely, you want to talk about New York backbone, this Atlanta team has absolutely no defensive backbone whatsoever. If you, unlike these Knicks, if you punch Atlanta in the mouth, they're going to go down. But that being said, they're a talented team. They have talent. They have shot makers. They have guys that could do some stuff on offense, even with no Trae Young. They have guys that could do stuff on offense. And then it's a different animal against Orlando. I don't need to tell anybody what Orlando is. And then it's the back-to-back against Philadelphia, which, boy, oh boy, you'd love to have Brunson for both of those or one. Even if you don't have him for either game, man, those are both home games. Get one of those. Get one of these next two, and then get one of those Philly games, and then you've made it to the West Strip, and then hopefully, by that point, you're starting to get whole. Thanks, Sam. Harry Donor, what's going on, Harry? It's always good when you comment. You know what's going. In one game, I went from I don't know why I watch sports to this is why I watch sports. This one felt special. You always have a way with words, man. You make me jealous. I might have to steal that one for the newsletter. But I'll give you credit. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you're spot on. Dom the Dentist. I've been seeing your name pop up a lot in the Substack track tonight. I don't 100% know why, because I haven't been able to pay close attention to it. I apologize, but congrats to you, or I'm sorry that happened. Let's ride a winning streak into the KFS game. So the KFS game is Sunday. They have Atlanta and Orlando before that. I mean, sure. Oh, this is okay. This is news. Here we go. This I will take as news. DiVincenzo on Brunson. I asked him if he was okay, and he said he'll be fine. And that's everything to me. I don't worry about Jalen. He's one of the toughest guys in the league. Whatever it is, he's going to bounce back. He's tough as nails. Okay. That I will take some solace in. Jalen Brunson told DiVincenzo he'll be fine. I don't think he would say that. Right? If he really thought some bad shit was going down. Okay. All right. It's going to be okay.
This, of course, goes back to what I was saying. Like, the commentary and the pulse around the team after Randall's injury was like,
was different.
You know, it was different. It was somewhat somber. Yeah. Brunson went in to be like, you know, we love you. Like, we'll hold the fort till you get back. I mean, this is the definition of PTSD. This is when Aaron Rodgers went down and you had like wide receivers after a thrilling win coming in and be like, yeah, I went in and gave him a hug and told him I loved him. And Aaron Rodgers like personally apologizing to Garrett Wilson. He said, like, I'm sorry because like we won't get to play together. What he really meant was that I'm sorry your quarterback has to be Zach Wilson now. But the tone around this doesn't, it sounds like the best possible scenario happened, that nothing structurally got injured.
I can't.
We got to get to tomorrow. We got to get to another day. No.
I
agree.
I was going to say that I can't put into words with you where I was mentally 3 hours ago.
To give you somewhat of I think we were all there. Just then the game happened. Like the game picked me up. I was in the building when Rodgers went down, and then the game happened. And this is why I think it's different. Walking out of the building is when I got the first alert that he had torn his Achilles. So that's why the sentiment is like, oh my God, what a win, because all we've gotten is positive news to make us continue to feel better about Brunson's status.
I couldn't snap out of it until the second half. That's all.
Yeah. I think we all were kind of there, especially the way the first half ended. It's like, all right, so that was a fun rally. Now
we're gonna get
the season on the line. Yeah, exactly. I'll stay on for this next comment.
Oh boy. Kevin Danishevsky. See Berman comment for a laugh. I saw it and I will not repeat it, nor will I comment on it because I.
What did old Captain America say at the end of Avengers Endgame, John?
Nope. I don't think I will.
There we go. Thank you, Kevin, for the contribution.
Bourbon. David Sancharico. Hope I got that right. Relieved with the initial JB diagnosis. Any word on how Evan Mobley's ankles are doing? That breaker by Deuce, man. Woo, boy. That was serious shit. That was nice. See, but he'll do stuff like that. And now he's got this mid-ranger really going. Like, really going. It's you want to get excited. You really do. It's easy to get. He's a player that makes you want to believe. I'm talking about Deuce, and then he makes you believe with some of the stuff he does. Like, we talked about the ways that he is an imperfect fit. That dude could ball. And he seems again, much like many of his teammates, he seems fucking relentless. Truly. So that's exciting. And you know what? Here, let me give him this too. Look, I'm not. God knows I will be the last person to diminish the impact of Jalen Brunson. But if Brunson is out for some period of time, like there is something about having Deuce in the starting lineup. Like I'll say this, I don't feel like all hope is lost. And it's not to say that Deuce replicates like any of the things that Brunson does. They're very different players. The only thing they have in common is they're roughly the same height. But the way he fights, and obviously his teammates as well. But I don't feel like all hope is lost if he's our starting point guard. I'll say that. Thank you, David. John, what's going on, John? Not that Shake Milton will make a huge difference, but when does he arrive to play? My guess would be on Tuesday. And any update on Mitchell Robinson and OG? This is other John, by the way, I should say. Andrew told me to say that. Any update on Mitchell Robinson and OG? No. OG, the update we got was that he is he's doing basketball activities, no contact yet. And Mitch, I think the last update from Tibbs was focused on, I think, what he was not doing. And I forget specifically what it was, but like maybe no running. It was no something. And I was like, that's maybe not the best sign. But I look, my big takeaway is when Tibbs, and this as far as Mitch specifically, when he was like, we hope to get all the guys back before April. That was my big takeaway. Thank you, John. Other John. Robert W. Cross. It's your boy, John. Mensa has us riding high like 99 reprised 2. What say you? Am I supposed to know what that is? I don't know what that is.
So I think he's more just saying like Mensa has us riding high like the 99 Knicks, but like it's a reprise. Yeah.
Oh, sure. I thought it was a specific reference other than just the 99
It may have something to do. So I don't know if you've seen a clip that's been going around from our Twitter that we had a casual Sunday watch along.
Yes,
and the stretch when Josh Hart hit the 3, and I don't know if a lot of people caught this, then turns around because he hit it in front of the Cavs bench and tucks Donovan Mitchell's chain in his shirt. The level of disrespect and just eat our shorts that the Knicks have for the Cavs is amazing. And then goes back down the other side of the court and makes a defensive play for a steal. Let's see if it'll play correctly because my computer can act up sometimes. Let's see the casual reaction to said play.
Don't shoot that, Josh.
Oh my goodness. Give it up. Take a shot.
Wait for Mensa.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he made up.
You said don't shoot that. He shot a worse shot and made it. He has 19 rebounds. He has 19 rebounds. You see these boys, man? Good D. Let's fucking go. Bro, I'm hyped. Let's go.
That's great.
That's
phenomenal.
Josh Hart literally made Mensa go to church temporarily. That was amazing.
We should all go to church and pray for Josh Hart.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Mensa. Jason Feldman, what's going on? Jason Burks had a meaningful pass. Take that, Joe Biden.
So for those who have no idea what this reference is, okay? So Jason's comment is Burks had a meaningful pass. Take that, Joe Biden. Fred Katz has been on the just some recent research in his most recent articles are what's wrong with Alec Burks, and it's passing with a purpose. That a lot of his passes have been just kind of that you're not even like dribble handoffs or connecting passes. They're just like, I know I have to pass here, so I will. Some of them have been grenades, and that's been part of the issue. And Jason saw a meaningful pass from Burks tonight. The take that Joe Biden. So when Brunson went out with his injury, Fred Katz tweeted out an update from the Athletic in collaboration with Joe Varden is who he meant, who covers the Cavs for the Athletic. What he actually sent was in collaboration story with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And DJ had the joke of the night. Well, so he tagged Joe Biden, like the actual president of the United States' Twitter handle. And the DJ had the joke of the night and was like, Fred's going all the way to the White House to find out what happened to Jalen Brunson.
I had a different joke in mind that I will keep to myself.
What, that anytime Fred Katz has a typo, it's interesting.
It's not the worst typo this year.
Yes. Could be worse. Love you, Fred. Check out Cats and Shoot.
Robert Cross is another one. First time, long time. It's your boy John. I told Kevin this weekend that you have to take the good with the bad with Tibbs. You would have been proud of me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining my team, Robert. I appreciate you. I don't need to repeat all the same stuff that I've said about Tibbs many times, but yes, in short, yes, I think it's all part of the same package. That's what I always say. Thank you, Robert. Kevin with another one. Robert, please go away. Worth $2. Get a penny back. So it's not even $2. It's like really like $1. Thanks, Kevin. Christian Finnegan, what's going on, Christian? How are you? I was at a friend's cabaret show and checked my phone right as JB went down. Literally 10 seconds later, the lights dimmed and the show began. Most excruciating 90 minutes of my life. I would have gotten the fuck up and left, but you're a better friend than me. Good job by you. Thanks, Christian. Appreciate you, man. Robert Cross with another one. I will settle the Deuce McBride stuff for good. He is a player, he says with emphasis. I've seen enough of Alec Burks and don't care about Shake whoever. Listen, Shake's a good player. Alec Burks a good player. I know Deuce McBride's your guy. He's the last man standing. He's the last homegrown Knick standing. Actually, no, that's not true. Jericho Sims and Mitchell Robinson. But in terms of like the young pedigree guys of the young up and comers of the last few years, like he's the last part of that group. I think you're allowed to get high. I think you're allowed to get high on your own supply here with the upside with Deuce. I still think that there's more there. There's more there. Is he just all you want him to be? If he could be a rotation player on a team trying to win a championship, that is such a massive victory. That is such a massive victory. If that is what he is, and I don't know that I could go there yet, but he's trending in that way. And if he gets there, rotation player, contender, oh boy, what a massive windfall that would be for the Knicks, and what an accomplishment that would be for Deuce. And it would evince so much hard work on his part. Thank you, Robert. Original Alex. Knicks have 5 of the best 15 to 20 contracts in the NBA in Mitch, Deuce, Jalen Brunson, Julius, and Dante DiVincenzo. I'll get back to that in a second. P.S. Anyone who mentions the Cavs missing spiders should get pinworms. My mother sent me a text today. I think I should actually just read the text because to try to summarize it would do it a disservice. This was this morning. Hi, catching up on your podcast. Enjoyed watching you with Fred Katz. Sorry to hear about Isabel and her itch. And happy she's not old enough to know her privacy was invaded. LOL. And then she said some other stuff too that was irrelevant to that part of the conversation. Anyway, I don't know that I could put Deuce in that category just yet. Maybe we get there. But I'm with you on the other on it. Like, I think Mitch is 4th on the list. Trying to order the other 3 is really freaking hard. I mean, it feels like Brunson should be number 1 for obvious reasons. But like, man, like what you get per dollar. Brunson's 1. I gotta tell you, that's tough. kind of tough call who I would rank 2 there between DiVincenzo and Julius. And then I put Mitch 4. And maybe, I don't know, is Mitch one of the 15 to 20 best contracts in the NBA? Maybe. It's an argument. I don't know. It's tough. He's a center. And he's hurt a lot. Thanks, Alex. Robert W. Cross with another one. Robert's back, baby. The Cavs are pillows, and Mobley should be the new spokesperson for Sharman. They do seem to provide a soft landing for the Knicks every time. And all that said, I want this on the record right now. I would still be afraid of them in the playoffs, but of course, because I'm afraid of everybody in the playoffs. But that team with Mitchell, oh my God, they have a lot of talent, and the thing is, getting Strus and the emergence of Sam Merrill gives them exactly what they needed. Like we probably should not be all that surprised that they are as good as they are this year. They are really good. They're a really good team, and the Knicks so far seem to have their number. If they play in the playoffs, I hope it continues. I'm sure it would be a battle. Thank you, Robert.
Can I offer a minor counterpoint?
Sure.
So the reason they succeeded, or one of the reasons they succeeded so much during that stretch, was the rise of Sam Merrill, the rise of Dean Wade, and
I know where you're
these
going.
shooters who wasn't on the court down the stretch tonight. Sam Merrill. And like, I understand you probably have to ride with Strus after the game he had the other night, but they're in this weird spot where they go to this lineup down the stretch where it's what they call the core 4 and a 5th player. And it's like kind of like where we were a couple months ago, where it's like Quickly's probably our best option in closing, but like there's a size issue that the Tibbs has, and like Merrill probably should have closed tonight, but Strus hit like 5 threes in 5 minutes the other night. Like, it's almost like because you can only play 5 guys and Mobley is your best defender, but he doesn't give you as much offensively as you would want with the spacing issues they were giving us tonight with Okoro and Strus and Wade and Merrill on the court at the same times. Like, that's what got them back in the game in the second quarter. So it's almost like too many guys, not enough spots on the court, you know?
I think, look, I'm not going to call out JB Bickerstaff. He has an argument for being the coach of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Once Okoro's shot stopped falling, I think everybody in the building and everybody watching had a sense that it wasn't the genie wasn't going back in the bottle. So there was that part of it. But you need him out there for his defense, arguably. But if that's the thing with him, obviously, I'm not breaking any news here. If his shot's not falling, then it becomes tough to play him and Mobley and Allen. And then the Merrill piece, and I'm pulling it up right now. 3-pointers made per 36 minutes of guys that are actually like active parts of NBA rotations. Davis Bertans has played 23 games this year. He has not really been in it part of a rotation. He's at 5.5 per 36. Sam Merrill, 5.4 per 36. And then a gentleman by the name of Stephen Curry at 5.4 per 36. So Steph Curry is essentially tied with Sam Merrill in terms of rotation players, more than 5 made threes per 36 minutes. No other rotation player in the NBA is even close to 5 per 36. So like Sam Merrill, just in terms of his made threes, not necessarily degree of difficulty, although man, some of those shots look challenging tonight.
It was back and forth. So he took 13 threes tonight, and I actually thought they made a conscious effort because he only made 2 in the second half, right? So I thought they made an effort to locate him when he was on the court as much as possible. The 2 threes, if I remember right, were the contested threes. One that was on this weird, like, Allen tried to throw a lob, or Okoro tried to throw a lob, and it went off the backboard, hit off 2 Knicks, and just landed in
that was
Merrill's
the
hands
offensive rebound one.
Right,
Yeah,
but it wasn't like an earned offensive rebound.
That I didn't mind that, yeah.
So, like, then the other one, Merrill actually dribbled to the 3-point line around DiVincenzo and didn't wait for him to set. And that's when I was like, how does he not close the game? And you see the lineup they went with. And to your point, yeah, in general, you probably do want Okoro's defense out there. Who's the big offensive guy on the Knicks that you needed or Isaac Okoro's defense out there for? They were stuck on 96 points for 5 straight possessions.
And more than that, like, not to get into too much X's and O's, but I felt like the Cavs were like the Knicks. If they wanted to switch, they were getting a switch. Like they got the switch. Bogey, I think they got Garland on him late in one of the possessions. I don't know that it yielded any fruit, but like, no, I think you're making a great point. Like, I'll put it this way: we'll use the old Bill Simmons thing. If you're the fan of the other team watching the game, I would imagine every Knicks fan when Sam Merrill left the game, it was like, oh my god,
I exhaled, and it was a simultaneous substitution that Merrill left the game and Hart came in, and it was 5 straight possessions where the Knicks got to stop. Now, the Knicks scored 2 points in those possessions and made it 101-96. So that's why the Josh Hart 3 felt so big, because it was the first time any real space had been created. And again, they finished the game with 98 points. So, look, I'm not even saying it's like a bad job by Bickerstaff. No. These are just like, when you have so many good options in closing time, you have to navigate that every night. And when you're apparently locked in to this core 4, it makes it tough on a night. Hey, I should probably sit Mobley or Allen and go with more spacing or more and boost the offense a little bit. I probably need a Coro's defense, but if his shot's not falling. So these are the questions you have to ask, which is why I thought we saw for a month and a half, 2 months, they were missing 2 of the guys that they normally close with and had a much more, Donovan Mitchell centric offense that worked.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well said.
The next 2 are addressed to me.
Okay, you go for it.
Brando, AC, speak on salary and roster number impact with Shake Milton. John, what's the salary and roster impact with Shake Milton? Because Brando's, this is the second time I think he's gone to me for like a Jeremy question.
The salary, I'm assuming, is a minimum. As far as the roster number impact, I mean, the Knicks have roster spots.
3 open spots. Yep.
Yeah. So they actually, a better question is, someone asked me and Jeremy,
there's you and Jeremy.
I don't think it was Jeremy. Someone, but in terms of like how many days, no, I think it was me and Keith Smith, because I retweeted Keith Smith. But Jeremy has talked about this in the past. The Knicks need to have a certain number of players on their team for a certain number of days during the season, and I'm not sure where that tracker is right now, frankly. But signing Shake for the rest of the season will certainly help them in their effort to get to that minimum. Like, you need to have X amount of players on your team for X amount of days. But they have room. They have, like, it doesn't put them in the tax or anything. Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I knew they had 3 open roster spots. Shout out 30 Dancers, but in the Discord, like, just sign somebody, like anybody. It's like it's a push and pull, but 30 Dancer, they signed somebody. You're welcome.
And it's a small thing, but Shake Milton, I believe this is his 6th season in the NBA. Pulling this up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is his 6th season in the NBA. So in terms of your veteran minimum number, the way the veteran minimum works is the veteran minimum goes up each year you're in the league. Like, so if the veteran minimum for a 15-year player is going to be more than the veteran minimum for a 5-year player. So the fact that Milton doesn't have a ton of service time makes his veteran minimum number a little bit less. So if you're worried about luxury tax stuff.
Thank you, Brando.
Yes. Robert W. Cross, legend of GMAC. I'm going to let you read this.
If Mensa is right and we do reprise 1999 or 99 reprise 2, part 2, I will sponsor the KFS party bus for the Eastern Conference Finals. Only stipulation is we need an emergency live stream to raise monies for your fantastic cause. Robert, if they make the Eastern Conference Finals, sponsor away. Get whatever bus, if the Looney Bin will let you use one of the buses that you'd like. Okay. Well, we'll go crazy. Absolutely. They get to the conference finals. I don't know why you keep bringing up 99. I guess you're assuming that they're going to drop to 8th. So they're going to have to beat Boston in the first round and make a run that way. I would much prefer be the 6th seed, beat the Cavs, and then avoid the Celtics until the conference finals. But that's my 2 cents. But of course, if you and Ment, apparently this is a thing on Study Hall that Robert and Mensa have been perpetuating. And apparently, see, apparently this is just the thing that they have been on, then that we need to now honor and acknowledge that 99 can happen again, and
I mean,
it'll be a reprise.
It certainly can. By the way, I just looked it up. I don't know what made me think of this. Amongst players under 6'7" in the NBA, Josh Hart is leading the league in rebounds at 7.6 per game. You want to guess who's second?
How many rebounds per game?
7.6. The player there's one other player who's under 6'7", that is averaging at least 7 rebounds a game. It's 7 on the dot.
How tall is Draymond?
You got it. It's Draymond.
Okay. It's Draymond Green.
And then a third player. There's only 3 averaging more than 6 per game. And the third guy is Asar Thompson. So pretty lofty stuff from Josh Hart.
Yes. Thank you, Robert. We have 7 more.
Okay. Dom Cappuccini, does this win step over the first Philly one, Denver, or either Miami win for the best dub of the year? I'll throw off the top of my head the Indiana game too, that had Jalen Brunson emotional on the court afterwards. I think that's a good. The Philly and Denver wins are so weird because those teams like let go of the rope. So I don't. It's like,
did they let go of the rope or did we pull it out of their hands?
Either way, it was not a competitive game after the middle of the third quarter. So, like, I don't know. It's always tough for me to be like, should that be the best win of the year, or should the one that came down to the wire be the best win of the year?
If that's the calculation you're making, there's one other nomination that we need to acknowledge, and it's the Brooklyn win.
Oh, that came down to the wire?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they were only overcoming their own poor play in that game.
Fair, but what the other 2 games you're talking about, they were so good that there was no poor play to overcome. Like, they took the defending champs and said, not tonight. And they took a team in the Sixers that was, on a winning streak. They were top 2 in net rating at the time. Embiid was getting 30 a night, and we made that a laugher in the fourth quarter.
Me personally, best 2 wins of the year, this one and the Indiana one. That's me. And I might give a nod to that first Miami game. That was so out of the blue, and they needed that one. Things were dicey at that time, if I recall.
They were. I'm having a hard time putting anything from the first season that we had. Like, you could put the Minnesota win in there if you wanted to. The first game of Anunoby, that was a big one.
A big one.
Yeah,
they lost a bunch of games. It's like 4 in a row, right?
The tough part for me to do the second Miami win, Dom, is that's the game that Julius went out. So it was very bittersweet at the end of it.
It was. It was absolutely good word for it.
Oh, he acknowledged in another super chat.
Yeah, or Indy at home. I almost forgot. Best win. Yeah, I mean, they've had a bunch. They've had a lot of good wins. They beat Denver. They beat Minnesota. I mean, throw in the Phoenix game when Jalen Brunson scored 50 points. You can. Yeah, I mean, Christmas.
Yes, they beat Milwaukee finally.
That was a great freaking win.
They've
had a lot of quality wins this year at the end of the day. So, tip of the cap. Thanks, Tom. Alex, original Alex. Damn straight, other Alex. I'm the OG. Sure. It's because you're old.
No, old guard and not the original gangster.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Same shit.
You're welcome, Alex, for setting that record straight. You're very welcome. And other Alex, happy to have you. JETS.
The more Alexes, the merrier. Busy. It wasn't me on the Discord, I swear. # go Tibbs. I'm so in the dark, so like this could be funny or this could be, I don't know.
I'll tell you after the show. Okay. Yeah. But it wasn't busy. That's a fair. He is correct. # go Tibbs is funny, but
Busy rarely says anything that, like, I will still disagree with Busy occasionally, but like I get where Busy's coming from all the time now. Me and him very rarely see very not eye to eye. I can't actually think of the last time it's happened.
We disagree a ton too. Like, I like to disagree with Busy. It's gotten to a place with respectability. We love you, Biz. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next Sunday at the game.
So hopefully Brunson's playing. Stevens Guillaume, thank you for your contribution. Appreciate you. And Sam Garcia's dad. We Knicks fans have been through a lot, but let's not forget this franchise's greatest moment is Willis Reed coming back into Game 7 of the Finals to win a chip. We'll be healed up by the playoffs, and the league best be ready. Man, it's a nice thought. It's a nice thought. For sure. Thank you, Ray. Luke Stone. Deuce went all Shang Tsung on Mobley and stole his soul with that ankle breaker. Which character was Shang Tsung? I may have to pull it up on my thing here.
What is this in reference to?
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, I never played Mortal Kombat.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't have a game. So this is a weird story I'm about to tell. I had one game system.
Oh, this fucking guy. Sorry.
Until I was in 6th grade, and the one game system I had was a Sega Saturn that got stolen because my house got robbed when we were on vacation. So I only got to play it for like a week, and then the following 2 Christmases I got a PlayStation, and I never played fighter games. I played sports games. So it went rotation from MVP baseball to Madden to NBA Live. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
That was great. Thank you.
That was the Charlie Brown teacher that while John was looking up the characters from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, no, he was the I was just confirming that he was the main bad guy in the original game. Yeah, no, he's a good villain, Shang Tsung. But yes, Deuce did indeed go all Shang Tsung and he stole Evan Mobley's soul.
If someone could put that together, do the finish him when Mobley's on the floor, like pause it there. What am I talking about? I could put that together. Maybe that's what I'll do tonight.
There were some great finish hims.
Josh Hart untucking in Mitchell's chain is pretty amazing.
That should be a new finish him move. Josh Hart, put your chain back in your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the equivalent to ripping a guy's skull and spine out of his body and turning him into a lifeless pool of jelly. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Boy, the mood changed from the beginning of this because eventually I get the loopiness gets to me. Either that or the bourbon. Like this video, subscribe to our channel if you would like to see more of what we do. If you're listening on the KFS podcast feed later, please leave a 5-star rating. We love those ratings. And even more than that, we love positive reviews in which you say nice things about all the work that we are doing here at Knicks Film School. We will be back with more fun and games very soon. What's today? Sunday? So Jeremy and I are recording tomorrow.
You and Benji tomorrow. But Jeremy is still away for work.
That's right. Me and Benji are recording tomorrow, so we will somehow attempt to put everything going on into make some sense of it. Yeah.
Congratulations. 2-2 week.
Oh, I won.
You won the week. Benji with a very negative 1-3. You won the week, my friend. You get to pick the game ball and you get to make predictions first. You are a champ. You avoided elimination because you have to win out now.
I can do it.
Okay. I believe in you.
No, you don't.
In this, I believe in you, sir.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
Not another thing.
Well, I was only asked about this. So.
I'm assuming we got a pregame pod 2 coming up against the Hawks game. It's been literally months since we played the Hawks.
Not only do we have a pregame pod coming up against the Hawks, but I am going on the chase down tomorrow to talk about the game that just happened at my second home over at the chase down with Justin and Carter. We will recap the JB injury, the emotions of the night, and why the Cavs just have to tip their cap and call Josh Hart their daddy.
You know what's great? Never in a million years could you think that, like, as well as the Cavs have been playing for the last few months, in a game without Donovan Mitchell, that there could be like any result that could leave the Cavs and their fans feeling like absolute dog shit. Mm-hmm. Tonight, I think did it, and that makes me so happy. And I just would like that stated for the record.
Yes. And it was like, this was embarrassing too. When you add in the chain, the Mobley going, the Josh Hart 3 was hit in Mobley's face, and then Deuce crosses Mobley's ankles. Like, yeah. And I don't know if again, not judging if you missed the pregame show or not, but the the Cavs schedule upcoming. So they play. Oh no, it starts. Oh no, okay. So they play Boston next, which Boston's won 11 straight.
in a row.
Then they're at Atlanta. Then they have 3 straight home games. Then they don't play back-to-back games in the same city until April 6th and 7th, the Saturday and Sunday, where they play in LA.
A lot of moving around.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I'm more still focused on getting the top 6. But
as am I. I'm just saying, like, from a Cavs perspective, like, you kind of wanted to bank this one because we're worried about staying at 4th. They're worried about staying at 2. You know, they'd like home court in the second round if they were to get to it.
I mean,
sure.
If you're the Cavs, you're trying to get 2. If the Cavs get 3, I don't think they should be disappointed.
Depends who 6 or 7 is. Which, ironically, like who do you want to play? A healthy Knicks or the Heat?
Yeah, that's a fascinating question.
Or the other option, a healthy Sixers.
Man, Cavs Heat would be interesting.
It would be.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, so many flashbacks to the decision and the history between those two teams. Yeah. Second year in a row that a rumored Donovan Mitchell suitor potentially eliminates Donovan Mitchell.
Let me. Sorry, we're going live.
I
gotta write a newsletter about this game somehow. I don't know the fuck I'm gonna do that. The Pacers, I know they've been playing better. Like Wemby's now in like full on.
You mean the Spurs have been playing better? Yeah.
Sorry, what did I say?
The Pacers. You're talking about the Pacers game.
I was talking about the Pacers. Yes, you could read my mind. Thankfully, I know the Spurs have been playing better. Is this now 2 straight games, 2 straight wins for them? Wemby's out of his mind. I mean, he's not gonna make All NBA, but like. Definitely making some people maybe think like, should we have considered him stronger for All-Star? Pacers lost tonight. They are now 2.5 games back of the Knicks. And I feel like just looking here,
Halliburton's just not healthy right now.
They've lost 3 of 4. They were on January 28th, they were 27-20, so they were 7 games over 500. And now, sitting here over a month later, they're 6 games over 500. And I get it. Halliburton is not maybe right, but can I give you their upcoming schedule?
It's pretty brutal too. Yeah.
Woo. At Dallas, Minnesota at home, at Orlando, at OKC, then a little bit of a reprieve. Bulls, Nets at home, Cavs home, and then a 5-game road trip. Starts easy at Detroit, then at Golden State, at Lakers, at Clippers, and ends at the 5th game at Bulls. That is your upcoming stretch for the Pacers.
Second most difficult schedule among Eastern Conference teams the rest of the way, by the way.
I mean, they do have back-to-back Brooklyn games late, which, like, I don't know. Who the hell? Maybe Brooklyn will still be playing for the 10th seed at that point. Yeah, man, that could – look, Knicks got to stay ahead of a couple teams. Maybe the Pacers are one of them. We'll see. Okay. We'll getting out of here. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening, the whole thing. And we'll be back with more funny games very soon. Talk to you later.
Get well soon, JB.